Hi everyone, welcome to the ElectricmotorGP show. My name is Nee and I'm your usual host. And today I'm going to be talking all things BYD. BYD has actually decided to give us teasers of what's coming our way now, and I'm going to walk you through a few of them. The Sydney EV show is going to be happening from the 30th of October till the 2nd of November. If you look in the description below, you'll see links for a bug off deal, and you should be able to use that to get your buy one, get one free. The things that are coming into Australia, the BYD Seagull. The other one that's coming in that's going to be very interesting is the BYD Seal 5, which is the smaller sibling to the BYD Seal 6 as a plug-in hybrid. You also have the Atto 2 coming in. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on each one of them for you so you can understand what the market segmentation is and which specific cars BYD is trying to target. With the Seagull, basically they want to be the cheapest EV available in the Australian market, and they've got a very, very good chance of that. If you look in the video that I did about the BYD Seagull and why this is a car for you to pay attention to, basically that goes into all the details of the specs of the car, so I'm not going to go into detail of the BYD Seagull. But a little bird has also told me that they're expecting the base price to be somewhere between $19,000 and $20,000. I might be wrong. We're just going to have to watch this space and see what comes out there. But if they do price it in that price segment, all of a sudden the conversation changes. You now have a situation where people that are looking for their first car, fresh out of uni, or kids that are getting their first car from their parents, if parents who can afford it, will be considering the BYD Seagull for the first cars for themselves. Why? Because you're going to get 200 kilometers of electric range in the car. But more importantly, you're going to get a car that's going to be either ANCAP 4 or 5 stars. It did manage to get Euro 5 stars in Europe, which means there's a high probability it's going to get ANCAP 5 stars as well. But the practicality of it, boot size, a lot of things are going well with that car, and that car is going to be one of those cars for you to look at. So let's move on to the BYD Seal 5. I like the look of this car. I saw this car in Shanghai when I went for the Shanghai Auto Show, and I knew this car was going to be coming, but I didn't know when exactly. There are a couple of things about the car that I really do like, and there are a couple of things I don't, and I'll be very, very clear about them. But for what the car is supposed to be and what the market segment it's supposed to be entering, then you know that this car's got is going to have a lot of potential appeal. Now, everyone who knows about the Australian market knows that the major problem we have in the Australian market has to do with the ability of the market itself to adequately provide charging infrastructure for you. So hence the plug-in hybrid. But if you saw my last few videos, I've explained to you that even though the plug-in hybrid seems to be something that you're looking at, BYD's plan for it doesn't seem to work. And this BYD Sea Lion 5 is a typical example of that. Why am I saying this? Let's look at the specs of the car, and I'll come into the charging, and I'll come into the battery, and you'll understand where I'm coming from. It's a 5-door car for the Sea Lion 5. It's more like a wagon or a hatchback rather than a proper sedan, so which is good. It's designed to come in and be kind of an intermediate car between the Sea Lion 6, which starts roughly around the 43,000 mark, and this is going to be somewhere below that. So this is going to be a car that's going to be able to pull people from we don't want to go that high up, but we're looking for something a little bit better than the Tiggo 4 Pros, hybrids, and the sub $40,000 market segment. Size-wise, it's 4.715 meters. It's 1.89 meters in width and 1.69 or 1.7 meters, depending on which market and which one's definitely coming to Australia. So it's a decent sized car. The wheelbase is 2.712 millimeters, 2.712 meters. It has 2 variants. One variant has got a 12.75 kilowatt hour battery. The other one's got an 18.3 kilowatt hour battery. The AC charging for this car is 6.6, which is not bad, not great, but not bad. But the problem is the DC charging is a bit of a letdown. I think it's 35 kilowatts for the 12 kilowatt hour battery, and I think it's 50 kilowatts for the 18 kilowatt hour battery, or something along those lines. I'll get the specifics and put them in the bottom corner for you to see. The other thing in there is the actual engine. So it's got a 1.5 aspirated engine, so it's not a turbo, which generates somewhere around 120 kilowatts of power, depending on the version that they do. I think there are two versions of it. One comes with a 120 kilowatt, the other one comes in with a 145. And it's also got an electric motor which sits in the front as well, which also generates 145, 120, 145, depending on which version comes into Australia specifically. So it's capable of doing 0 to 100 in about 8.9 seconds. Multi-links, rear suspension, and double wishbone up front. I don't know whether it's got active dampening or not. For this price point, I would be surprised if it really does. But the interior of the car, from what I saw in China, was really, really lovely to look at. So what is the effect of the battery size? The battery size for the 12.5 kilowatt hour battery is the CLTC cycle you're likely to be getting somewhere in the 75 kilometer range. If you convert that to WLTP, you're looking somewhere about 50 kilometers. And if you convert that to real life, you're looking about 40 kilometers. So that's where the problem lies in there. It's not a good enough capacity for you to do your daily electric only runs in it. The 18 kilowatt hour battery is probably better. The 18.3 kilowatt hour battery is going to give you somewhere in the region of about 115 kilometers on the CLTC cycle, which is roughly about 90 kilometers on the WLTP, which then means it's roughly about 75 in real life. That is likely to be the better version of it if you're going to get that. Now, I heard, I'm not confirming, that there is a possibility that we might get the Sea Lion 5 with a 30 kilowatt hour battery. If that's the case, then all of a sudden it's changing the spectrum a little bit. And BYD now is trying to make some adjustments to their lineup. They're actively beginning to think about putting their BYD Generation 2 batteries into most of the cars that are coming out now, and especially the cars coming out for 2026. They're also actively having conversation about putting in the improved electric motors in the cars. So we might actually see that the version that's coming to Australia might be a little bit different from the specs that we've got online in China at the moment. Why do I say this? The electric motor that they're looking to put in the cars now, the RPMs are a bit faster than the ones that are in the current cars, which therefore means that the cars are a little bit more efficient. The other bit in there is that BYD also is recognizing that the 12 kilowatt hour battery and the 18 kilowatt batteries are not actually getting enough attention in the outside of the Chinese market than they're doing in the Chinese. And even in the Chinese market, they're not doing very well. So BYD is making adjustments, and those adjustments are long overdue. But the beautiful thing about the adjustments being long overdue is that the adjustments then mean that all of a sudden the conversations around what BYD is providing in the plug-in hybrid market is going to change for 2026. So watch this space. Now, moving on to the Atto 2. This one is almost very, very intelligently played by BYD. And the market success that they're having in the UK is proof of this. So if you go and look, BYD is having a phenomenal time in the UK at the moment. Their growth is roughly somewhere in the region of about 140% over the last 12 months, over the last 9 months. They actually outsold Tesla for the month of September. So definitely BYD is having a fantastic run in China, in the UK and a lot of European markets at the moment. And the BYD Atto 2 is part of that success story. The Sea Lion 7 is definitely the car that is making most of the headway. But the BYD Atto 2 is getting a lot of attention. And I'll explain to you why. The BYD Atto 2 is your Honda Civic, your Toyota Corolla / type car. It's not in the Yaris segment, it's in the Corolla segment. Dimensions of the car, 4.3 meters in length, 1.83 meters in width, and 1.67 meters in height, which means firmly in that category. What makes it really good is the fact that it's got a 400 litre brute. It's not class leading, but it's decent enough. For Australia, BYD have also been very intentional and very smart. So the eastern states, so especially New South Wales and Victoria, have got this rule that if you're a P-plater, you cannot have a car that does more than 160 kilowatts, somewhere around 290 horsepower or 300 horsepower, somewhere along those lines. And this is because they're trying to reduce the incidence of accidents and things like that going on at the moment. So what has BYD done? BYD has also taken a leaf out of the playbook from MG. This particular car is going to be coming in 120 kilowatts. Now, 120 kilowatts doesn't sound like a lot, but BYD has also made the car a little bit more efficient. We're also going to be getting the new electric motors that have got a higher RPMs in the BYD Atto 2 as well. So consequently, what does that do? It also makes the car slightly more frugal than the other BYDs. BYDs are not known for being very efficient. So it comes in two different battery types. The first battery type is 45 kilowatts, and the second battery type is 51 kilowatts. And therefore, you get 314 kilometers on the smaller battery size and 345 kilometers on the bigger battery size. And this is WLTP. Now, we've found a way of calculating real life range. So you'll find the actual real life range from WLTP present in the right hand corner. And what does this ensure that you have? It means that this car can go 0 to 107.6 to 7.9 seconds. The electric motor is 120 kilowatts, like I mentioned to you earlier on. It's got 290 newton meters of torque. I think the best thing about the car is the fact that it's compact but comfortable. The interior of the car is sensible. It's well laid out. It's well thought out. You know that there's a lot of thought has been put into trying to make this car very, very decent. And why am I taking the time to tell you this? Fully expect that this car is going to be pretty popular over the next 12 months. Now, the only drawback is the persistent drawback for BYD. The DC fast charging of this car is 83 kilowatts. That is so bad that even the Deepal SO7, which has got a 92 kilowatt, has got a better charging, DC fast charging than this. That is so bad that the Geely EX5 has got a better charging at 100 kilowatts. And I think that's one of the things BYD still continues to do that I find really, really troubling. You've got the capacity to put these things correct. They're LFP batteries. It's a 400 volt architecture you're doing. Put it at 150, make it easy for everyone, make it easy for people to charge this thing. It also means people are not going to spend too long at the charging points. They can get in and out of there very, very quickly. You will have the capacity to switch all your cars to 800 volt architecture. I'm sure it's going to change the price point for a lot of them, but you're almost at that point where you can technically do this thing. So BYD, if you're listening, stop with the sub 100 kilowatt hour charging. It really doesn't make any sense. But would I still recommend this? Because my sources tell me that the price point for this is going to be pretty decent, about between $32,000 and $35,000. So, which means you've got a decent car with a 6-year warranty, 160,000 kilometer warranty on the car, and 8-year warranty on the battery. So honestly, it's not bad. And BYD has fixed its warranty in Australia to make sure that the warranty actually covers the whole car. So this is definitely something that I believe is going to be very decent in that market space. So the next car coming in is the BYD Sea Lion 8. Now, I'm going to do something. I'm going to give you a little bit of a teaser once I'm done with the specs for the Sea Lion 8, because I need you to understand there's a sweet, sweet spot for those of you guys who've been waiting. And I'm going to do my best to give you access to the breakdown of this as soon as it becomes available. But let's talk about the Sea Lion 8 first. So what's special about the Sea Lion 8? The Sea Lion 8 is the first 7-seater coming out of BYD in Australia. Now, the Sea Lion 8, like I said, it's one of those cars that I still believe that they should not name it BYD. They shouldn't name it a Sea Lion 8 because it doesn't have the ocean aesthetics. It has the other aesthetics, the dragon aesthetics, so which therefore this car should be part of the Atto series rather than the Sea Lion series. However, the Sea Lion 8 is DMI, which is their dual motor intelligent, and so it's not really off-road, but it's a 7-seater. It's a decent size in terms of length. It's got fantastic interior. Its original name was the Tang L, because they're worried about it not translating very well in the Western markets. They've rebadged it as the Sea Lion 8. Now, there's a version of this, which is the battery electric version of this, that I can actually do dual guns, which means you can plug two 500 kilowatt guns and charge it and it will charge, or you can plug it to one megawatt charger and it will charge. But that version, I'm not sure if it's coming to Australia or not, but we're going to be getting the plug-in hybrid version of it. It has an electric motor which is 200 and between 200 and 220, the different versions of it, but let's say 200 for the sake of what we're doing at the moment. It's got a 1.5 turbocharged petrol engine also, which is mated to it. The petrol engine generates 110 kilowatts, which then gives a combined output of 320 kilowatts of power. It's got a 18.3 kilowatt hour battery, same problem, which I've been mentioning all along. However, I've been told that there's going to be a version of this that's going to come up with a 28.3 kilowatt hour battery. BYD, if you're listening, tag on a decent battery onto this thing, put something with 39 kilowatts or 40 kilowatts to give it more of a decent battery only extended range. It's also supposed to be able to do 0 to 100 in about 8.6 seconds, which is not great, but it's pretty decent. The reason why I say it's pretty decent is that it's a family car. It's a 7-seater. You're supposed to be lugging about 7 people in the car. The chances of you being able to wanting to get this car to be accelerating very quickly is not what people will be looking at. However, you've got to think about it from the perspective of you've got the Zika 009, which has got a 400 kilowatt electric motor and is capable of doing 0 to 100 in about 5 seconds or 4 point something seconds. And then you've got the X9, which is also capable of doing 5 seconds as well. So it's not great, let's put it that way. However, the interior of this car is phenomenal. It's quality all the way through. I've seen the tan version of it. I saw it while I was in China. It looked pretty awesome. I haven't driven it. Like I said, it was the Shanghai Auto Show. Chances of getting to drive it was pretty slim. And the other auto shows that I went to didn't have the cars available for you to test drive. It's supposed to be able to give you an electric only range of 215 kilometers on the CLTC cycle, which would then mean that this car is capable of giving roughly about 175, 180 kilometers electric only range, which is fantastic. Length of the car it's a big car. It's 5.04 meters long. It's almost 2 meters wide, and it's about 1.7 meters tall, 1.76 meters tall. So it's a big car. Boot size, it's supposed to be 300 liters with all 7 seats, and when you fold the back seats, it extends to roughly about, is it 1,200? I do think that this one's going to be pretty popular, and I've heard a lot of people are actually putting a lot of interest in it. I think BYD have already gotten roughly about 1,000 pre-orders on it without people even knowing what the price point is. So this one's likely to be very popular. Now, before I started this, told you I had some breaking news for you. The Denza B5 and the Denza B8 are going to be launching within the next 6 weeks in Australia as well. I have it on good authority. They're going to be launching pretty soon, even though I'm not allowed to comment on them. Now, I have seen the Denza B5. I've not driven it, but the specs of the Denza B5 are pretty impressive. I also have it on authority that BYD is actually looking to launch the D9. And if you watch the channel, I've actually driven the D9. I drove it in Singapore and I drove it in Indonesia as well as in Thailand. And every time I drove it, I really liked it. It's comfortable. It's got captain seats in the middle. It's got a back row of 2 or back row of 3, depending on how you configure it. I'm not sure we're going to get the option to get the middle row of 3. But if we do get that, please know that this is going to be a decent car. So if you want to get more details about the Denza D9 specs, just look in the pop-up corner there. We'll have details for you. I might actually do a new video of just a deep dive on the Denza D9 because I've got a lot of footage and a lot of conversation about it that from when I drove it with myself and Halima when we were in Indonesia. So that's one you've got to look out for. I will do another video looking at the Denza B5 and the Denza B8 specifically for you in more detail. All right. So guys, we are now have membership available. Please sign up to membership. We've got a promo that we're going to be running through for our first year anniversary. So keep your eyes peeled. The first winner for the promo is the only person who got 3 out of the 5 clues of what we were planning to do in the first half of the year. So you're going to be getting, I'm going to mention you in the next video, probably in the video when we do the B5, B8 comparison. But I will be telling you what your gifts are going to be. Please send me an email of where you want me to post your gift card and your gift item to when we announce it in the next video. But for all of you who stayed this far, thank you very much. Let me know what your thoughts are on what BYD is bringing in. Are you happy with the battery sizes they're bringing in? What would you like to see BYD do? Now, I'm going to tell you something that you guys don't take seriously enough. They look into the comment section and they take feedback from what you put into the comment section as to what they're going to be doing and what adjustments they're going to make. So if you, for example, tell them what you want, talk about the charging speeds, how happy you are with the charging speed. Ask them to bring their own chargers to Australia so that they can rival Tesla and give you options. And you can have more options for charging and not get ripped off by a lot of the charging fees they're being charged at the moment. But otherwise, I will see you guys on the next one.